missed you guys. Hi everybody, it's Janine over at Slow Happy Vintage, and I've missed you guys. I haven't done any videos in quite a while. Life just gets busy sometimes. I really do enjoy doing these videos, so thank you for bearing with me and being patient with how often I get them out. I have been out shopping and sourcing and finding some pretty amazing things that I can't wait to show you, but we're not going to do a haul video today. We are going to do something different, and I call it Save, Scrap, or Sell. Now, if you have been collecting and sourcing and reselling jewelry for any length of time, you will probably come across gold. And you need to make decisions. Some people just scrap any gold that they find and get the cash for it. And other people weigh in on, well, what's the value of this piece as a piece of jewelry the way it is versus the scrap value, and make a judgment call whether or not to sell or scrap. And others still, collectors, like to keep certain pieces. So I have been collecting a bit of gold, and I took it to my jeweler. I knew most of it was gold, but I took it to my jeweler to verify and to get an idea of value. Now, I know that I could get a higher return on my gold if I sent it out to a refinery, but what the refineries do is they take all that gold, all the stones, everything, and they just melt everything, and then you're paid based on the actual pure gold, the pure gold content that is left over. And in order to make judgment calls, I needed to know more than that. I like to sell my gold locally simply because I do like to keep a very strong working relationship with my local jeweler. They've helped me out on a lot of different things, and they're a wealth of knowledge. And in making these decisions, she was able to kind of tell me what scrap value was versus what I should ask for things in certain circumstances, so I can make a better judgment call. Now, the way she does it, because a lot of these pieces have stones or pearls or whatever, she quotes me on the full weight of the item, which means she's including the weight of the stones in her quote, but she will pay a lesser percent of scrap value because of that. So I have to make judgment calls on overall value. We'll get into that when we talk about specific pieces. Anyway, I'm going to flip the camera around and we will look at this gold. I know people are going to have different opinions about what should be saved, scrapped, or sold, but it'll be an interesting little event we do here. For starters, we are going to just talk about these little pieces right here. These turned out not to be gold. I believe the little elephants are gold plated, but when I took them to the jeweler, they did not test as gold. So, and also if you feel them, they don't have the weight that they should have if they were to be gold. But they are very cute. I will sell them as costume pieces. And then these little pieces will probably just go into a scrap lot of craft jewelry. This is a little shell cameo. It is set in brass with a gold wash on it, but once again, no real gold value on either of these pieces, so they will be sold just as little stick pins. Okay, we're going to work our way from low weight gold to higher weight gold. This is my 10 karat batch of gold, and I have to tell you, all of these gold pieces, with a few minor exceptions that were inherited, were found either at estate sales or in lots of jewelry bought at a garage sale, and in a few cases they are pieces that I found at the swap meet. These earrings, they weigh a little over 3 grams, and they are 10 karat, and scrap value on these is about $60 or so. So they have a pretty nice little design on them, and I will try to sell those before I scrap them. This little ring is about 2 grams, so value on that is going to be $40 or so, based on my jeweler's formula. So once again, like I said, if I took these to a refinery or something, they would pay more, but this is just what I'm working with right now. Now the stone on this is chipped. It's almost all the facets are smoothed out, and it does not have any amazing value as far as a ring goes. The setting is not spectacular. It is an older ring, but that is something that I would probably scrap, just because I don't know that it would be necessarily sellable with all of the flaws that it has. These little pieces, they all look like HSN or QVC pieces. The stones are lab created. They are genuine stones, but they are lab created. Now each of these have a value anywhere from $20 to $55, $60. I will try to sell these. The style of them is not real modern, but this one is a little bit more modern it's got a very interesting cut. But I think I should probably try to sell these before considering scrapping them, because they're in just excellent condition, and I can either put them on chains or just sell them as pendants. Now we're going to talk about the 14 karat gold little section here. Now the total scrap value on this, according to my jeweler and her formula, is approximately $750. When we take it piece by piece, it's going to be a little bit different. I'm just going by the pure weight. Like this one has some coral on it, so she included the weight of the coral. These have pearls on them. She included the weight of the pearls. If I scrapped these, I would most likely have her remove the pearls, not necessarily the coral, but the stones. I would keep the pearls and stone. Now the first thing, this was found in a jewelry lot. This is a little ruby ring. It is missing a stone in the top, and it is clearly broken. You can see that gap right there. It is a really cute ring with just an amazing setting, but in order for this to be sellable, it would need to be fixed. And you know, a jeweler could fix this pretty quickly, but they're going to charge, and the cost of fixing it outweighs the value of it. So even though the setting is really cool, I will most likely scrap that. Then going on to this wedding ring, this was found at the swap meet, and one of the reasons I wanted it is because I pretty much figured this was a real sapphire. I know this is a diamond, and we'll get to this piece later. That sapphire will probably fit quite nicely into this little slot where somebody put a piece of glass for whatever reason. So this is a no-brainer. This will be melted. It is a very small wedding ring. It weighs a little over 4 grams, so the melt value on this is going to be over $100. I will salvage the diamonds. This is a diamond. These are not diamonds, and it was missing one of the sapphires, so that's an easy decision. That's a scrap. The next thing is this Cameo ring. Also weighs a little over 4 grams, so melt value is going to be another over $100. Now, looking at this ring, this is an older ring. It does have some marks on it. I will have to research the marks, but the setting is just really beautiful. So that is one of the ones that I would consider keeping or selling. You can tell it used to be a cameo. There's an outline of the lady on here, but over time she's completely worn. Now, I don't know if there is a market for just a plain coral cameo. I'm gonna have to do some research on that one. What would you do? Would you scrap it? Would you keep it? Would you sell it? That one's still up in the air. Next, going on, we have this little stick pin, which is 14 karat gold with I can't tell if that's a sapphire. I think that's a diamond and a garnet. Now, this one holds some sentimental value. It belonged to my great aunt, and the value on this scrap wise is about $50. There is much more value to this piece than scrap. Just the workmanship on it, the detail, it's just beautiful. Beautiful little piece. But I will be keeping this one just because of the sentimental value. Same thing with these two stick pins. They also belong to my great aunt, and I'm a horse lover. She had lots of fox hunting things. Her husband was a fox hunter. And these two, let's see, the horse and the horseshoe is a little over 3 grams, and this one is a little over 3 grams as well. So they're in the, $70 to $100 scrap value range, but just the beauty of these, some equestrian person would absolutely love these. I also do believe that they might have some maker's marks on them. So those are going to be keepers. Next thing we're going to talk about are the pearl earrings. Now, total weight on these pearl earrings is a little over 3 grams. So once again, we're talking about, the $80 to $100 range in scrap. Without their pearls, they're fairly lightweight. So that may change the value. If I just, if I take the pearls off, they may have to reevaluate the scrap value. Because they're lighter weight and they are a relatively modern design, I'm going to most likely try to sell these. My daughter took a look at them and she's like, oh my gosh, I almost bought a pair of very similar earrings to that, only they were posts and they weren't gold. So, they could end up being given to her as well. These earrings were found in a dollar bin at the swap meet. Don't discount the dollar bin. Know what gold looks like. Know what the weight feels like. These are hollow, so they don't have a whole lot of weight to them, but they're close to 4 grams just because of the size of them. They're also a modern design, and the scrap value on these is about $100. I think I'll try to sell those as well. They do have a few little tiny little dents on them, which is typical for vintage earrings. They get worn, they get dinged up a little bit, but overall they're in lovely condition. And I did not know when I bought these that they were 14K. I had a feeling they probably were, but you do take a chance. So I was not aware at the time of buying these. Same thing with this one. This little fish, I just thought he was a cute little fish. He's in one of my haul videos. I bought him at a yard sale for not much at all. He was in a group of jewelry that I purchased. Now he's over 4 grams, so his melt value alone, including that diamond little eyeball, is going to be 120 or so using my jeweler's formula. Because of how cute he is, I think I'm going to try to sell him. If I were to sell him knowing that scrap value is, say, we'll just use 100 for round numbers. If I sold him on eBay, I would want to get probably 200 for him, simply because you've got to account for the commission that eBay takes and, photographing and storing and shipping and all that kind of stuff. So we'll see what we do with him. The last pile we're going to talk about are these two. These two are a little interesting. This one I bought for $10 at a yard sale, and it is very peculiar because it is probably an Art Deco era bar pin, and it's got some issues. So the clasp is marked 14K. The clasp is indeed 14K, but when I took it to my jeweler, the pin and the bar itself are testing as 10K. Now, she did not do a scratch test on these because it's so fine, and in order to do a proper scratch test, she did not want to damage it. And I brought her a lot of things to test, so I don't expect her to do completely thorough testing on them without me being charged for it. So she did do they do some sort of electronic test on them, and it was testing as 10. The other odd things about this is that this is a sapphire, these are diamonds. This is not a sapphire, it is a blue topaz or something, and this is a piece of glass. So like I said, I wanted originally to take the sapphire out of this wedding ring and stick it in there, but it might not be cost effective to do it. I don't know that it's going to change the value of this pin once you figure the cost of setting that. And the other interesting thing about this is that when my jeweler took a look at it, she said, oh gosh, they just did things pretty strangely back then, because these are just set, they're very lightly bezel set. Pardon my voice. Got a frog in my throat today. They're very lightly bezel set, and what I mean by that is there's nothing really holding or securing or seating that stone or any of the stones in the back of this. So she said it's kind of like taking aluminum foil and just lightly wrapping it around the stone to hold it in there. If she were to replace this stone, she would recommend making an actual seat that it would sit on and then doing the bezel, which time-wise, cost-wise, it's probably not worth doing that rather than just selling this as it is. The melt value on this one is about $80, and I would keep the stones. So this one's still up in the air. With as many problems as it has, I'm not sure how to accurately list it. And I do collect deco jewelry, so I might just keep this in my collection for a while. Then the last one is this one. I'm going to throw a screenshot of a piece that looks pretty much identical to. I do not think this is the same. The piece I'm referring to is a Tiffany piece that most recently sold for $1,200. I don't believe this is Tiffany, but it is a dead ringer for that piece that sold. These are genuine turquoise. This is 14 karat gold. The Tiffany piece is actually 18 karat gold, and it was marked on the stem. This does have some markings on the stem. I cannot read them, and it is marked right here 14K, and it looks like there's a worn mark right here that I cannot read. Now, the quality of this piece, it doesn't seem like a Tiffany piece. Tiffany would be clearly marked Tiffany somewhere, and I think this 14K is double struck, which means it's got like a double image. I think if it was Tiffany, that would have been better. I think the wire attachment here of these turquoise pieces would be cleaner. And I also think that the pin attachment would be cleaner. Having said that, the scrap value on this is a little over $200. My jeweler even recommended, she said, I wouldn't scrap that. She said I would try to sell it, and I would try to get $600 to $800 plus for it. Of course, I would not advertise this as a Tiffany piece, but people who know that Tiffany piece might be interested in something like this. And it's a lovely piece. So this again is a mystery, and it will be sold, but I will probably hang on to it for a little while just to get some more intel on it if I can find more intel on it. So in summary, these pieces up here will be kept for sentimental value. This whole row right here are slated to be sold, but I don't know when. And then I'm not sure about this guy. These are slated to be scrapped, and then these are kind of up in the air right now too. Do you agree with my thoughts? My buy, scrap, or sell? Are there any things that you would do differently? And on top of that, talking to my husband, I kept thinking, well, should I just scrap them now or scrap them later? And as most of you probably know, gold is a daily fluctuating commodity, and it has only gone up in value over the past 10 years. So the current market price on gold is like $2,300 per ounce, I believe it is. But his advice is to just hang on to all of the gold for now. So after all of that work, I'm just going to hang on to it for a later date. Unless I can get quite a bit more for it than market price, which this one might be one of those ones that I could do that for. There is one other thought about selling gold that I didn't mention, and that is selling gold online. When you sell gold online, especially in venues such as eBay, a lot of people don't have any problems, but there have been situations where returns happen, people claim something is not what it is. There's a hassle factor of selling gold online. So a lot of times, I hate to say this, I really do, but a lot of times it is more cost effective and a simpler process just to scrap the gold that you have. Unless it's something that has some historical significance, really old pieces, antique pieces like those stick pins that I have, well, the fox one in particular. Sometimes it's just more simple and cleaner to scrap it. I really hate to say that because so much jewelry gets scrapped when it's probably shouldn't be. Anyway, what is your take on that? If you have any comments about that, if you've sold gold online and have had great experiences, let me know in the comments. All right, hope you enjoyed this video on buy, sell, or scrap jewelry. I would really appreciate it if you hit the little thumbs up sign on this video, and we will see you in the next one.